Steamians, what is up? Dan at Starlight here. So today I'm sort of thinking about the difference between eating meat and grain or carbs and that kind of stuff. I've been shifting towards more of a carnivore diet for a long time now. I guess I did meat and greens only for like 3 months a couple years ago, and it was probably the best thing I ever did as far as my diet goes, as far as like how I felt during it. It's just though, like, kind of in our culture, it's hard to do that when you fall off the boat, especially. It's like all of a sudden it's hard to maintain. But slowly shifting back to that again. But I also have kind of like a theory that I want to talk about, which is like why eating meat just kind of makes you muscular, whereas meat eating, well, and like gets rid of fat. Like literally, if you're on a carnivore diet, like if you eat only meat, you're gonna go down to like no fat, and you're gonna build some muscle, even if you're not really exercising. It's crazy, but so I'm trying to make sense of that. And also, it's like obviously, if you're just eating a ton of carbs, like you're gonna get fat. You know what I mean? It's like I don't think too many people are disputing that. But to me, it makes sense in the sense that like what is meat supposed to do to you? Like if you're a predator animal, if you're like a tiger, you have to be in really good shape to kill your food. Like you have to have a lot of muscle, you have to be able to run, hunt them down, tackle this animal to the ground and eat it, right? So the food that you're eating, that meat, better go to building a lot of muscle so that you can keep eating it, right? It's like, it just kind of makes sense. It's like, in order to sustain your lifestyle, the food that you're eating has to be able to sustain what you're doing. So the tiger's food can't just make it all fat. It's like it's got to stay in good shape so it can keep hunting and keep eating food. Whereas if you're a prey animal, I mean, you don't really need to have a lot of muscle, right? Like at most, a lot of the time, you just need to be able to like bend over and like chew some grass, right? Like that doesn't take too much energy. So it would make sense that like if you're just eating a lot of grains and stuff that you don't have to hunt, they're just there, right? That like it's just like you can just fatten yourself up, right? And also, if you think about your place in the ecosystem, it's like you're a prey animal. That means that a big role of your life in the circle of life is to be eaten by predators. Like they need to stay alive. They need to eat food. So, I mean, you can't just like take a piece out of the circle of life. Like it's like when that sort of whole discussion about when they took when they eliminated the wolves in, I think it was Yellowstone Park. It's like humans hunted all the wolves, and then it fucked up the whole ecosystem of the park because all of a sudden there were way too many elk and they were eating way too much grass and kind of fucked up the whole forest. And then I think they reintroduced the wolves in like the 90s. I think they brought some wolves down from Canada and just stuck them in the park. And then it started to rebalance the forest, or they say it did. I think there's some debate over it, but you get the idea. It makes sense. It's like you can't just remove what an animal's role is from its ecosystem. If it's eating grain to become food for another animal, ultimately it needs to fatten itself up. It should, like, that would be the ideal thing, not to build muscle so it can run and hunt stuff, but so we could fatten it up. It's just weird, like, because we as humans eat our meat without having to hunt it, which is a new thing. It's a really new thing. So it's like it's easy for us to forget that, like, maybe that's why meat, even now, if you just eat meat, will make you lean and energetic and muscular, because it's like in the past you would have needed those muscles just to get more meat. Now you just go to the grocery store and buy it, so it's a little bit weird. But I think its effect on us is obviously still present, since a lot of people are moving towards these like keto, like type carnivore, like meat and greens type diets, and they're looking like they're in really good shape, and they're feeling better and all this kind of stuff. So that's kind of like a theory. I don't really know, but to me it would make sense that if you need to be able to hunt meat, then that meat needs to make you muscular. And if your role is just to be a prey animal, like, you probably don't need a lot of muscle. Instead, you need to be sort of fattened up by just bending over and eating whatever's around you. I kind of want to build a gym. I want to build a restaurant gym someday. It's like a combo thing where like you got to do a workout, and then at the end of that workout, like literally as soon as you're done, there's like a big steak that's served to you to like mimic the process of like hunting something down and eating it. And sort of, people have talked about the anabolic window for a long time. I don't think the science on it is what it was. It's like a little, like, seemed like even 5 years ago, people believed like there was this like hour-long anabolic window after workout, where if you eat during the protein during that window, it like goes to your muscle, which would make sense, right? Because it's like a tiger would eat its prey immediately after the exercise of hunting it, right? So it makes sense. I mean, I think the health industry sort of exaggerated that, and now they're taking like it's a more gradual window. It's not like you got to eat right after you work out, but there's a lot of truth to it still. I think that you want to shift your body from a catatonic to an anabolic state. I think those are the right words. And I mean, that just sort of goes with it. So I'd like to have this gym where it sort of mimics like the idea of like being a predator. Like you got to run through some course, maybe like after some imaginary animal that's like a robot running away from you, and you got to like tackle it and kill it, and then you're served up like a nice piece of meat. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. Maybe you have to dress up in like a tiger suit, right? Just for the experience. So you dress up like a tiger, and then you have like a wild boar that you gotta like hunt and tackle to the ground and then eat. I think that'd be pretty cool. So I'm gonna work on that gym restaurant idea. Anyways, let me know if any of this was interesting. Again, this is not educational stuff. This is just me thinking in front of the camera. That's sort of how I'm approaching the vlog stuff for this next little while, just so that I don't stop. Anyways, Dan Starlight, peace out.